I have a ton of lime, so today I'm going to be making a Korean-style fruit syrup called Cheong. This is a very slow extraction or fermentation method, so it is a perfect way to preserve any extra fruit that you don't want to go bad. Step 1. Because these will be fermenting in sugar for a while, you want to make sure your limes are completely sterilized before you start. To do this, I'm scrubbing them clean with baking soda and just a little bit of water. I'm using baking soda instead of boiling water to sanitize them because I don't want these to absorb any moisture in the boiling process. These should be as dry as possible. And on that note, once you're done scrubbing them clean, rinse them off really well and lay them out on some towels to dry. Now make sure that you're carefully drying each and every fruit. Any moisture that gets into the syrup can cause mold, which we definitely don't want. Now cut the ends off of each of the limes. And the reason I'm doing this is because the tip of the lime where the blossom comes out of has enzymes that might make the syrup cloudy or taste a little bit bitter. Now obviously pick a jar that's large enough to fit in all your fruit and sanitize it really well. So with this one, after I washed it, I put it in the oven on high heat for about 10 minutes and made sure to dry off any excess moisture. Now cut your limes into very thin slices, as thin as you can go without accidentally cutting yourself. As you slice through these limes, just keep track of the weight by using a standard kitchen scale. This whole jar ended up weighing 1,030 grams, which was way heavier than I was expecting. And the reason we're weighing these is because we have to add the same amount of sugar and weight as we have in limes. So I'm weighing out 1,030 grams of sugar, which is way more sugar than I thought I would need. Transfer your limes to a bowl and add 3/4 of the sugar, leaving aside the last quarter. Massage the sugar into the lime, squeezing as much lime juice as you possibly can along the way. Now, if you are observant, you may have noticed that I'm now wearing a glove, and this is because I sliced my finger trying to make my limes too thin, so be careful. Now add these to your jar in layers, trying to stack and push them down to ensure no air gets trapped at the bottom. Okay, so let's talk a little bit of science here. What this process does is it utilizes the glycolic acid and sugar to slowly and gently pull the moisture and flavor out of the fruit, leaving you with the most flavorful simple syrup that you have ever had in your life. While small amounts of sugar do feed all kinds of bacteria, interestingly, too much sugar can actually prevent mold from growing. And this is because it literally sugar shocks the bacteria, meaning they just don't know what to do with it. Now with the last bit of your sugar, pour a thin layer over the top of the limes, acting like a sort of protective shield from the outside elements. Now the limes will release a little bit of air during this extraction process, so loosely cover with a lid that can allow this air to escape, but so no new air can get in. There are many fermentation jars and lids out there that can do this. So over the next few days, the glycolic acid and the sugar will slowly start to turn this into a lime syrup, and I'll show you in a couple days what that looks like. So as you can see, after 3 days, most of the sugar has dissolved and melted into a liquid. I didn't touch this at all for 3 days. As you can see here, there's a ton more liquid in these, and the smell is just incredible. This syrup will just keep getting better with time, and it can last indefinitely. You can leave it out on the counter or you can store it in the fridge. If left out, just make sure you're checking on it every so often and stirring it to prevent mold growth at the top. I find that the flavor is best after about a month, but you can use this just after 3 days. These lime slices can be dehydrated, candied, or used in preserved lime recipes as well. It's literally the perfect way to preserve your extra fruit. Now there are so many ways you can use this syrup, and I already have a few projects in mind. I'm thinking a lime soda, key lime pie, lime sorbet, so if you don't want to miss any of those, make sure you subscribe.